Oh man, it's that time. Whew. And this is going to be a shorter stream today. It's we're not going to go as long as we did that last one. Let's get over here and let's get things started, shall we? Hey there, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be in your part of the world. Welcome back to the live stream. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today is August 10th, 2026. And we're going to write a little bit of code today. Welcome in also our friends on the Gunnar channels. How you doing out there watching in Gunnar Optics land? It's so good to see you. I'm glad you're joining us. We're getting things up and running here for a fine day together. We're going to write a little bit of code and get into a little bit of trouble. Not as long as we did on Saturday. Saturday, we got going. We were writing code. I was going for a 10-hour overnight stream. We didn't make it. We only made it about 7 hours. And quite frankly, between running out of AI credits and being cut off by Copilot, and then being cut off by Gemini, like I just ran out of gas. I literally ran out of gas. So I didn't have a chance to get a good nap during the day. And you know what? That's okay. I think we still had a good time writing code and having a good time chatting and hanging out there. Let me say hello to the chat room. They're right over here. We're broadcasting live on Twitch and YouTube and LinkedIn and on the Gunner channels out there. we're gonna wear some Gunnar glasses tonight. We're gonna talk about some tech topics. We're gonna show off a little bit of Gunnar's glasses and talk about some of their stuff as we go along here and provide a little bit of entertainment. If you're out there watching on the Gunnar website, maybe you're on the Gunnar Instagram, or you're watching us on the Gunnar Twitter feed, or Twitch feed, or the YouTube feed, or the Facebook feed, or the friend feed, or on ICQ, or AOL Instant Messenger, wherever you might be watching us on the Gunnar channels. It's so great to see you here. Thank you so much for joining us. Even if you're using one of those 30-year-old social media sites, that's okay too. I hear MySpace is coming back. That's going to be a thing again, so that's okay. Look, I'm a big fan of the Gunnar glasses. You know this, but the folks that are watching on my channels, I've been wearing Gunnar glasses for at least the last 10 years. I've been working with them, live streaming and wearing their glasses since 2018 on stream. And it's been tremendous. I'm a huge fan of their glasses. I'm going to start out tonight wearing a pair of the Gunnar Torpedo glasses. So these are curved. You might have seen glasses from folks like Oakley that have these very curved lenses. They're really, really nice. And to have that same model, but in amber glasses that block 65% of the blue light coming in, really nice. And especially later at night, I'm going to be going to bed sometime after this. The blue light will keep you awake. So they even have what are called amber max lenses that are very dark amber. They darken out. I think it's about 85% of the blue light, and I really enjoy wearing those when I have an overnight flight. I'm taking a red eye. I'm flying from the west coast of the states to the east coast. I'm flying over to Europe. I'll be wearing my amber max glasses so that I can still see, but I black out the blue light, and it lets me get a little bit of darker eyesight, relax, and get ready for bed, especially on a plane. It's really nice to have that option. How you doing there, friends? I see Shmuley's here. How you doing there? Yeah, no, I was cut off by Copilot. Copilot stopped me, literally blocked. You've used up all of your credits. You're not allowed to do anything more, and there's no way to buy more credits. There's no way to continue using it. Literally, come back to us in September. You're not allowed to use Copilot anymore. And the same thing happened with Gemini. You've used up all your monthly credits. You're not allowed to use any more. Come back to me in September. Thanks so much for playing. So we're on Claude now. And here's the thing that these folks don't understand. It's cheaper to buy the next guy's product. There's 5 different AI services out there. So instead of me paying 100 and something to you to use your service, I'll just pay and use everybody's service, and then I get everything for cheaper. Why does this feel like bar hopping? It's worse than bar hopping. You get done bar hopping and you feel good. You get done using up all of your Copilot credits and you feel shame. Then you use up all of your Gemini credits, you feel even more shame. You use up all of your Codex credits and it's just as bad. Like, yeah. So we're moving on, and we're gonna use Claude for a little bit here tonight. Claude resets in the middle of when you're using, so you actually get a little bit more usage out of it than if you were to be using Claude on Copilot. Claude on Copilot is really expensive, and you can't use Fable. Like, that's a thing. Like, there are some models on for the Claude services on Copilot that you can't use, and you can use even less if Copilot's very enterprise friendly, and the enterprise can decide which models, which services, which features you're allowed to use. Claude, it's the Wild West. I can use whatever the heck I want. So how you doing there, Chris Funk? Good to see you. M. Pulowski in Marysville, Washington. Hello, hello. Robson Previato. How are things in Sao Paulo? See, it's a little bit here earlier this evening. Right? We're not up quite so late. Co-working, were you at a co-working spot, Shmuley? So Devin B. Ness? No, not gonna use Devin. Devin soiled their reputation right out of the gate when it was discovered that when they launched, you weren't actually getting an AI. You were getting people writing code for you. Devin literally, right from the get-go, showed that they were willing to lie, cheat, and steal and be unethical. So that's right. Yes, I'm not Microsoft anymore. Yep, that happened about 4 or 5 weeks ago. Funny enough, they were supposed to send me a box for all of my gear, and nothing. Box with a self-addressed shipping. So my question is the gear mine at this point? So you're using Codex right now, but you probably go back to Claude soon. Yeah, the only difference I see between Claude and the other models, Claude's chattier. Claude talks to me more. Big deal. Big deal. Like, it does the same stuff. Is it faster? Is it slower? 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Like, whatever. That's fine by me. I think I finally have. Yeah, there we go. My build actions working on GitHub. Grok is really good too. Fantastic. You can pick stuff up next time you're on the East. Let me get some music played in there here in the background. I'm going to go to the Stream Beats. Where'd it go? Synthwave playlist. And sure, let's start somewhere down here. This is music that's DMCA free. It's royalty free. Listen to it wherever you want. Friends that are watching on the Gunnar channels, it's just kind of groovy music to have in the background as we write some code and talk about some of the things that are going on in tech together here on the stream. All right. So I've been in tech a long time, and it's when you have your Gunnar glasses, they look good. You're going to look great at the office, wandering around, and they're going to protect your eyes. So, hey, Oakleus, how you doing there? No, not a new schedule. No. Just it's another Monday night. I'm going to be streaming for Gunnar. I'll be back in about 2 weeks on a Monday night on the 24th. We've got another evening stream for Gunnar that we'll do then. So, I've been working on a project that I call Dayframe. Let me take you over here to the code. This is a closed source application right now, but the idea is the same. Personal productivity apps here all look the same. They all feel the same. They all do pretty much the same thing. It's a calendar, it's a contact list, and it's an email client. And they haven't changed in 30 years. I'm looking at you, Outlook. 30 years ago in July, Outlook 97 was released, and it stinks. Great, you bolted on a web browser. You bolted on Copilot. You didn't actually do anything to improve the services and things that are inside the application. Google changed the search box in Gmail into a AI question box. Big deal. I'm building an app that is extensible, built with .NET MAUI, extensible with Razor class libraries, and every module, every chunk of functionality is represented by a live tile. As we add features, they show up as a new live tile, and we're going to be able to integrate those features so that you can hop from one to the next to the next. Better than People App. And that's exactly the reference, Shmuley. Let's do more with this. Let's make it easy to extend with a clean interface. Let's add better search capabilities. Let's add better integration, and let's give people back the live tiles that they love. Why have we had to wait 20 years for people to build live tiles into an application? They were taken away from us. We love live tiles. We want them back. And that's what I'm doing. We're bringing the live tiles back. So let me show you what we got. It's in Visual Studio Code right over here. This is the plan of the things that I was going to work on that I never got done. We can do some checks and add some tests for some of these things tonight, but let's actually get it running down here. Nope, that's not it. That's the button I want. .NET Run That, John. When you were learning iPad development over a decade ago, you built a port of the People app. The People app was one of the greatest apps on Windows Phone. In fact, it was the whole reason for Windows Phone. The way that you could integrate and have your connections to all the people that are important to you in one place. And as we get into a more AI-forward tech world, what frustrates me is there are people that want to take that communication, that humanity, out of our computing. When Sam from OpenAI shows up on social media and says, "Hey, I've got a great idea for a great way to use ChatGPT. Let's load the calendar for my kids into ChatGPT, all of their calendars, and then we'll use ChatGPT to analyze what the kids have been doing over the last few days. And while I'm in the car, I'll have it put together a podcast about those topics so that we have something to talk about." They're your kids. You Android schmuck. You're worse than Zuckerberg. Talk to your kids. The humanity. If you're going to use AI to take away your own humanity, what are you doing here? What are you doing if you're not interested in the interactions with other humans? Come on. The reason the people thing in the taskbar failed, it was the integrations were taken away, and you lost that ability to interact. I have it. I don't have all of the integrations working. I'm still in pre-alpha phase here, but I've added modules for GitHub, so I can see the GitHub activity for projects that I'm managing in here. Is which a Telerik component? The tiles are not a Telerik component. In the calendar, that scheduler is a Telerik component. I've got RSS feeds that it loads and manages here that I can. The idea is eventually I'll be able to crisscross them. I want you to get huge Win8 feelings. Aloo the Dragon, how are things in Traverse City, Michigan? And of course, I can move these around, right? And they do reorganize the way that I want them to in the panel over here. And I can stretch this however I want. Ah, darn it! There it went. I was hoping it wouldn't do that, but good. Let's do a clear. The app just crashed when I adjusted the navbar slider. Are we still capturing logs? If so, analyze them. Go get it, Claude. So I want you to get some of those feelings. And I can, of course, change some of the look and feel in here. There we go. Let's go into a red color today. Yeah, that's fine. And the badge color, sure, let's go somewhere up in there. And the notification star color, I actually like a bright yellow. Sure.
The key to escaping this bug lies within your own stack trace.
Does it? Tell me more. So, ooh, look at that. All right. Keeping an eye on the comments from the Gunnar channels. There's my dashboard. That's what I was looking for. Working on an in-stream RPG game. Hope I'm doing well. I am. Thank you. You built TMux for Windows. Why? TMux runs on Windows. Or you can do all the splitting in Windows Terminal and additional tabs. Have a good one. I'm only going to be here for about another hour and a half. So, yeah, it looks good. There's my live stream right there. And there it is. So that works. There's a couple other things that need some touching up, but I have the build working now. Let me take a look over here. We are capturing logs, and the crash log confirms a known diagnosed reentrancy bug that a prior fix attempt. Yeah, go ahead, take a look. You go work on that, Claude. So I'm slowly building and adding features so that I can make this a proper minimum viable release. And dragging that slider back and forth is something that I want better performance on, because the UI update is awful. I want it to not crash. And then there are other integrations that I want to make sure are working and performing properly. I did a lot of work on the email client over the last day or two. I'm not going to show that because I'm not going to dox my email while I'm here. I want to dig in and take a look at what's going to be involved in putting together an MVP release. And I think I need to finish adding some other tests to this. So, after you look at that, let's also consider improving the performance of the screen refresh when sliding the slider next to the nav bar. It feels clumsy and slow. So, a full itinerary. Yeah. Did I end up announcing where I was headed after Microsoft? I'm at Progress Software. I started at Progress about 3 weeks ago now. So I departed Microsoft. There were things that were happening and changing there and I was put on projects that I did not like. I voiced those concerns and asked to be changed, reassigned to different projects. I was declined, so I found another job. So you can only go on so long working on something that you hate. And I was at a point that I really didn't like that project. I did a lot of I made a lot of concessions. I tried to do a bunch of things to make it more palatable to my creative side, to help and build and work on that project, on that effort that I was assigned to. And quite frankly, not only were they rejected, but my manager knocked me for them. He's like, I don't want you doing these things. Stop working on this. Go work on something else. And he held it against me in my review of the things that I was working on. I'm like, okay, you don't like my ideas and ways to get more creative, to make the project that you assigned me to, that I told you that I don't like, more palatable to me. And you're leaving me no choice but to move on. You're telling me that you're telling me that the things that I'm working on, the things that I enjoy, are things that you don't want. Okay, I'll move on. That's fine. So, disappointing to be sure. My time in developer division, I particularly enjoyed. I spent 11 years working in developer division, building developer tools, developer training materials, working with the community. My time working in GitHub, I absolutely hated. It was not a happy, enjoyable place to work. That's about all I'll say about that. I don't recommend it, not in its current state. It was, in talking with former employees, it was a different place in the past, but the way that things are going right now, it's a tough spot to be. And I wouldn't encourage anybody to participate there. So, but that's me. That's the way that I work and the way that I am creative and interact with and build things. And the folks at Progress and the stuff that we're going to be working on, and then I'm going to be very happy to share with you that I'm going to start building some of this week. There's live streams and content that I'm going to start hosting over the next, I think it's 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, that you're going to see me do. It's going to be tremendous. We're going to have a ton of fun with. We've got some things that are in the pipeline that I think are going to be very interesting and fun to share with you. Hey, PC nerd, how you doing there? I seem to be good with bringing new tech to the community in an accessible way. Yes, thank you. I was put in a place with GitHub where they didn't want me doing that. Okay. So, levitating? What did you, what? Let's see, what did it do here? Hang on. Confirm the crash mechanism precisely during an active drag. Directly mutates the grid column width and calls on every pointer move tick, dozens of times per second. Yikes. So the fix: never let a live drag trigger the grid clearing rebuild at all. Only resize existing tiles during drag and defer the actual column count rebuild to once right after the drag ends. We'll see how that works. So it's rebuilding, changing, updating here. Let's see how it does. I'm doing great, PC nerd. Thanks so much for asking. Enjoying your last evening of unemployment. PC nerd, I am so happy for you. Seriously. Really happy for you, my friend. That's got to be such a good feeling for you, and I know it's been a struggle. So I am really happy for you. Jerry Dean, how you doing there? Locked out of Claude until Wednesday. So you're working on artisanal coding as well, huh? So I'm on my third AI in 3 days because I burned up Gemini like that. I'm still good for a while on Claude here, and I only bought the Pro subscription. I didn't buy the Pro Max. So I'm on Claude. I'll be using, like, even if I were to buy Claude Max, I wouldn't buy the Max, the $200 one. Like, I'm not doing that much. If I were to get into doing multi-agent things, maybe. But honestly, as I look back and think about multi-agent interactions, I'm like, if I'm paying for it, I don't want to be paying for it. Tried switching to GitHub Copilot, and they're definitely working with Claude on these global AI limits. You burn through Pro in like 2 hours. Oof. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough, man. Jerry, oh my gosh. So I was talking to Mrs. csharpfritz. Here we go. Logs are captured, fix applied. The grid clearing rebuild is now never scheduled while a drag is in process. Only cheap tile resizing. And then the actual rebuild fires once. Fixed a latent issue. This change surfaced. Extracted the decision into a rule. So let's give this a shot. And we'll be able to see the code that changed right over there if we'd like. Okay, clear that, John. And let's see how this looks. You're a little worried that it sounds like it'll probably never touch a line of code despite the role of being a senior .NET engineer. Sounds more like a technical liaison with a third party. That's okay. Get in, get the job working. You're going to have a great time. Getting paid again, of course, you know. I see Michael on LinkedIn chiming in here. Been a developer my whole life. Understand when sometimes people don't get you. Finding meaningful purpose in some of the projects that I recommend did take off. And I've always been an impact person. So when you're doing stupid things, I was working for Verizon and they're just stupid the way they do things. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. It's okay to stand up and like to hear the viewpoint. Absolutely. If you're right, here's the thing, right? And here the application's running again. When us as engineers, when engineers, when software developers, when tech folks out there are working on something and you get engaged with something and you're discovering and working on a project, you're gonna see the way that some things operate, and it's gonna, some things might look right, some things might look weird, and we're gonna take a look at those things and think it's right or it's wrong, and we're gonna make recommendations accordingly. That when we make a recommendation that says, hey, this isn't right, that's not us being hateful or mean. That's engineering folks saying, I care about what's going on over here, and I'm recommending you make a change because I care about that outcome. So I completely hear what you're saying over there. And Michael, absolutely. We need to be aware of those things. I'm noticing I'm not getting the cross posting happening right now on LinkedIn. Am I getting it on YouTube? I don't think YouTube is cross posting either right now. I'm only looking at Twitch chat. Let me see here. Yeah, nothing on Restream is coming back. So Michael, I completely agree with you, and we should be able to call out when things are being engineered and put together and decisions are made in a dumb way. I would recommend that we use a softer tone with that to land that message appropriately. However, I think you're right that we want to what? Yeah, we're streaming on all the channels. There we go. We do want to be able to call those things out. They come from a vested interest in success. The problem is, and where our challenge is, when folks don't listen. And if we can be softer with that message, I think we're going to get better. You like to get the successes quick and then failure, or quick and even quick. And if we do fail even quicker, says Michael. Take all the emotional. Wow, look at this message. And political nonsense, and say, let's break it down. It was even better when you were a Fox Pro developer. Well, Fox Pro developer was quite a little bit ago. So it was a different tone in business interactions back then. You could actually do things and not deal with all the other stuff in the web services, employment people, and all these new standards are playing around with all the stuff. but I realize that exists now. And AI changed the thing. I'm not orchestrated. And I love this capability because I'm not just looking up a code. I'm actually for development engineers and okay. Fantastic, Michael. Yeah, glad we kind of agree here. How you doing there, Napalm? Good to see you. Yeah, artisanal programming, Jerry. That's right. Artisanal programming because you wrote it by hand, right? Good. It's good to have a little bit of artisanal here. So now if I drag this, yeah, see, look, you're just going to make things look ugly until I'm done dragging. Like, at least it works. Like, even if you want to drag all the way down to one column of live tiles, I'm going to turn off the iterating. That's not sized properly. Like, I'm not thrilled with how it works, but it works, and I'm going to let it move on. So I will save and commit that for now. And move on. Come on, I clicked the button. Go get me a commit message here. Like, thank you. The navbar preferences aren't remembering the star and badge color settings. Go fix that. You're so beat. Got into Pittsburgh late and home at 2 a.m. last night. Oh, that's a long day. Groceries and then the grass. Man, you had a long day there, Napalm. All the best to you. Oh boy. Yeah, that's a lot. So I'm going to let that grind on that for a little bit because it's Claude. You go do stupid things. I do have a fix that I deployed. So now when I push up changes, I thought I just pushed. I did not push. I just committed. I should get a fast build because I've got it caching. I do. I got another AI. I went out and bought Claude because they won't let me use Copilot anymore. Like literally, you hit your allocation and you're not allowed to buy anymore. Okay. You're not allowed to go over. You're not allowed to buy anymore. You're not allowed to, like, okay, whatever. That's not going to run. And I think it's because I was running so much with the Cloud Agent. I ran a bunch of things through Cloud Agent, and I think that burned most of what I was doing. Yeah, there we go. Go fix that. Those save items. There we go. Save those settings. There they are. And it's writing it out. Yep. And then I'll ask it to write some tests, and we'll move into some other things. You saw Delta as private lanes for Microsoft employees. There is. Yes. And I never flew Delta, so I never got that perk. Why didn't I never fly Delta? Because I fly into Philadelphia, so I fly American everywhere. So, barely got out of Seattle. Oh, that's awful. You want to get an audio kernel driver to ship with your application on Windows. $300 in a review, I think, to get it signed. Similar to voice meters cables. Could I just only pay 1 year? Yeah, right. No. Well, if you buy one version and you just keep shipping that one version, yeah, I think you only need to sign up for updates. If you never update it, you won't run into that. Yeah. But like N audio, I don't think you need to buy a license for that. So, My friend Bruno Capuano wrote a blog post about using N Audio with the Whisper library to do on-device transcription, and the new version of the Whisper AI model is very, very good. So, oh well, yeah, you're gonna be. You want to tap into the kernel? Yeah, good luck. Yeah, you're gonna run into that. Hey, how you doing there, bald bearded builder? You're favoring parakeet. Okay, all right. What are you seeing in parakeet that makes it better than Whisper? How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Back again twice in 3 days. Who knew? And Robert Tables. What? Do I need to do more night streams because that's when all the cool tech people hang out over here? My goodness. What in the world? What? I'm outside your working hours. That's why. It likes your southern accent. There you go. It's that Alabama drawl. Can I just take a minute and I gotta say big congrats to Chris Griffin out there, who's going to the Render ATL event this week, and is going to be receiving an award called the Commits Award, apparently for his live streaming. So kudos to Chris. Hung out with us at the Live Coders party in 2019 at TwitchCon. Happy for him that he's getting rewarded on that. So he's been a long-time streamer. Great to see that he's getting recognized for that. So yeah, guy came out to the party we were hosting at a place called the Whiskey House. He drank all the liquor I bought. No. It's annoying you can only test the driver in the test signing mode, can't use it. So hey Smab, how you doing there? Good to see you. The guy who gets drunk on stream. There's a few people that have. I don't think he does that anymore, Jerry, because he works for Get Kraken as a developer advocate. So, but there's a number of folks who have a little bit of bad behavior in the programming categories. So, hey, folks being recognized in the programming streaming categories, more power to them. Very happy for them. There's all kinds of content out there. Folks watching on the Gunnar channels. If you're in tech, if you're working in tech, there's all kinds of content from different people that are building things on stream that they want to share with you so you can learn from, and maybe you get inspired and you try new things. So I'm always here on my channel talking to folks and want to encourage people to grow their career, get into new things, get excited about topics and stuff around technology. There's a magic to seeing something that you build working and other people enjoying using it. There's a magic to getting that technology working well. And if you want that opportunity, I want to open up and give you a chance to learn more about that and maybe inspire you to try it out yourself. So let me see here. Run tests in the cloud. Yeah, sure. I'm not doing that, but it's running tests right now. You're not going to be able to run tests because I have it running. So the tests usually take about 15-20 seconds. So for it to be taking almost 2 minutes, yeah, it's hanging up on the build because I had it running. So come on around on that, friend, and we'll take a look. Like the fact that this task is taking 7 minutes is about 6 minutes too long for my taste. Yep, there it goes. And the tests all pass. How do I like Claude Code compared to Copilot? It's cheaper. I'll give it that. I'm not dealing with all of the flip-flop back and forth between models. I can kind of stay focused on the one model. I don't even know what model I'm using. Like, what model am I using? Sonnet 5, and it's good enough. I've had people tell me you need to use the Fable. You gotta use Fable, and I'm like, why? So, let me see here. My Secure Gift, how you doing there? Good day to you. Hope you're having a good one. Napalm comments, did I see the Crazy Sanderson Vibe OS demo? That was a joke. That wasn't real. That wasn't real. So, let me see here. All right, what am I working on today? So, still working on our project, Dayframe. I'm going to have Claude work on a couple things. I want to start standing up a promo website that talks about it, shares a screenshot or two, and kind of shows where we're going with this. So, like, what folder am I in? Yeah, that's right. And let's move this down a smidge. I don't really care what shows up down here. I'm really more concerned about what's up there. So this is just me running it down here. Nothing to really see. Hanselman, yeah, Hanselman posted it too, and he wrote, yeah, this is a joke. Yeah. So, there we go. And if I go, I'm going to reset the color of the badge. There we go. Badge color, and I was looking somewhere over here. Sure, let's make it bright yellow. And I want to do the same thing with this, John. Somewhere in here, something like that. Looks good. Right. Save, close. There we go. I should change the font color on that. One more time. Oh no, I can't change the color of the badge. Oh, that's fine. That's fine for now. So that works. And I can see my GitHub issues that are out here. This is, yeah, that's closed. No, I only want to see, I can't filter open issues. That's a little annoying. Not gonna lie. Hey, C# Titan, I'm doing all right. Good to see you. Let me see here. Let's see. Okay. I wired up. I can't really show it. I wired up a SQLite DB so it's saving some of this stuff. So I can click in and see that there and see here's when I'm supposed to give my dog his medicine. So, right, and I can see week view and I can see there they all are. But like, here's my birthday. My birthday is on the 28th, but for some reason it shows it on both days. I want to get that addressed. Let's dictate. What am I doing here? On the calendar module, when I have an event that spans all day in both week view and month view, it shows up across 2 days. Period. For example, my birthday is on the 28th of August, and it shows up on both the 27th and the 28th on the weekly and monthly calendar. Was it on the weekly calendar? Like, go forward. Yeah. Fix that so it only shows up on the 28th. There we go. I don't think it's a time zone issue because it's marked as an all-day event. So you might be onto something, Smab. Let's see what it finds, and I'll just let Copilot go do that. Supposedly it was functional, may have been a joke idea, but there was a kernel of genius there. I don't know. I was told it was fake. It was literally intended as a joke. So, let me see here. Yeah, it was a joke. And like 19% used on the current week before it goes and clobbers me. I'm okay with that. 86% of my usage came from sub-agent heavy sessions. Each sub-agent runs its own request. Be deliberate about spawning them. I'm not asking you to spawn them. You're doing it. Greater than 150,000 context. Why aren't you compacting? Well, so the idea of a very agent-focused operating system like that is something that, right, the Rabbit device was supposed to do. So, how much time does mine sit in the background doing continuous tasks? A lot. A lot. Yeah. Having to come back and click continue is the biggest pain in the neck. So I turn on auto mode for the most part and just let it run in auto mode. So, no, it doesn't count if it's sitting and waiting. If it's waiting for input, it doesn't count that against you. No. The auto mode goat, thank you. Thank you. Greatest of all time at auto mode, that's me. Billy. I tell you, it is the greatest thing being able to write code and hang out with our friends in chat and giggle and laugh a little bit at some of the stuff that's going on. Let me switch up glasses here. I'm going to go back to my Echo glasses. Yeah, there they are. If I'm using daytime offset, dealing with time zones and daylight savings, I don't know. We'll take a look. It's doing local date time there. It says local date time. So these are the Echo glasses. These have a little bit of rubber bumper on the tips there, so they don't get squeezed and pinch your head while you're wearing a pair of headphones. Kind of nice like that. Goat Niger, man, Billy, really? We're gonna do that? All 19 tests in that flat file pass, including the new all date test. Well, don't mind if I do. Run it again. Let's see what it looks like. Here, I didn't do this. I haven't. Go ahead, take a look. We'll ask the bot to take a look at the hat real quick. See what it thinks. Because I'm not sure that it's looked at this hat yet. There's the app. Out to week view. And down over here. Nope. Now it's going into the 29th. Unknown hat. See that? Now you've
Your code
got
is like a
the-
broken record at Napalm Codes. It just keeps playing the same mistakes over and over.
There it goes. LUE hat. Yeah, no, that's not right. So, happy Monday. How you doing there, digital drummer Jay? Good to see you. Yeah, very robust. It knows just about everything about this, except it can't read the hat. Here, let me zoom in a little bit for you. Right? It's a take on the Philadelphia love sign artwork, but instead of an O, it has a Liberty Bell. So doing pretty good overall. Awesome to hear that. Just gonna let that run and take a look over there. There's a bunch of issues that we've kind of outlined here that I'd like to do a little bit of planning against. And I want to get in and start building GitHub pages for a discovery website. Hang on. So what's the goal of this project? Same thing I do every week, Pinky. I'm going to try to take over the world.
It doesn't matter what you think.
Yeah. How do you create a Canva interface? I have no idea, my secure gift. It's something a little bit outside something I've worked on. I'd be asking my favorite AI for help with that. Seth Juarez, hello. Sad to see me go. Thank you. Always a pleasure working with you, sir. And I'll jump back over here while Claude's working in the background. It was time for me to depart. I was assigned to projects. I'll mention this earlier. I was assigned to projects that I didn't enjoy. I asked to be transferred. I asked for assistance in moving to other projects that I would enjoy, and that wasn't in the cards. So I found my way out and found another organization that I get to work on projects I do enjoy. So that's fine by me. It's that time. No problem. Yep. So, and yeah. Here's the thing. I'm going to humble brag for a second. I'm pretty freaking good at live streaming. There's people that credit me with doing a bit to kind of innovate in this space for software, for technology. Microsoft never wanted me to do that. Okay. I was doing more to innovate and bring content and technology education to developers in my spare time than Microsoft was interested in me doing. Okay. It is progress that I've landed. Yes, that's right. Used to work at Dev Express. Fun fact. So, and Seth is the guy to talk to when it comes to machine learning and AI capabilities. Absolutely. Massive respect for you, my friend. You've absolutely killed it and done a lot to teach all of us about how things are growing and advancing in this space. And dare I say, you deserve a little bit more credit than you're getting there, my friend. So, nah, Jerry, I'm not going to go there. They'll work things out. I'm just disappointed and sad at how the current leadership is quite literally dismantling the developer tools division. And there's a lot of folks that have moved on and left and gone to other organizations and inside and outside of Microsoft. I'm disappointed because it's a series of products that I love using. I really enjoyed working on, and there's other products and a future for other things out there as they make their business decisions, and they're welcome to. That's fine. I can disagree with them, and I'll move on and I'll do things that make me happy in other places. Like I was in therapy when I was working for Microsoft because I was working for Microsoft. Like it was time for me to go. I don't need to be doing that. That doesn't make that doesn't make me happy, and that doesn't move a project forward or give me any credit or value. So, isn't developer tools what made Microsoft really? Yes. Yes, it is, Napalm. And quite frankly, there are people who don't appreciate that right now that are in leadership positions there. They don't understand this significant lead that developer tools and the developer community has given Microsoft. And they're not feeding that community and nurturing it. They're changing things. And granted, the software development industry is changing. It's changing. They're not nurturing that. So, Napalm, I'm not going to disagree with you. Any cool things I'll be working at Progress that I can share? So there are features and tools. I'm going to be giving a talk at KCDC coming up in September, Kansas City. I'll be there giving a talk, and we're going to work on something here on this stream. It won't be tomorrow on tomorrow's stream, but probably next week. I'm going to add some features, some Progress software features, not Telerik features, Progress software features into Charlie, our chatbot, so that Charlie gets RAG capabilities, resource augmented generation capabilities, so that when you ask Charlie questions, he's going to be able to answer based on things that have happened on stream, based on other events and things that are going on around me, my event schedule. We're going to teach Charlie how to do that. So we're going to add RAG capabilities in there on stream, and how we do that and how that works is going to be part of my presentation at KCDC coming up in September. So there's a bunch of things that I'm going to be working on around AI capabilities and the Progress tools. So what's the difference between Progress Software and Telerik? Progress Software bought Telerik. Telerik made the component libraries that many of you have heard of, and as Seth was saying that he worked for Dev Express, they make component libraries as well. Those component libraries are still maintained and grow, and they're actually a huge part of the Progress business portfolio. But Progress also has acquired a number of other software businesses, and they act a little bit like a holding company for some of these other products. They're just kind of standalone products that don't really integrate with the rest of the portfolio. So that's kind of weird. But some of those products they bought, one of them includes this agentic RAG software called Nuclea that they have rebranded and made available as Progress Agentic RAG. And it's actually pretty nice because it packages up everything you need to add a knowledge base to your application and makes it real easy to drop in a library and just connect things up so that it's doing agentic processing and of different data points, and then allowing you to query and interact with that knowledge base. Really nice. So Progress Software is a larger company that's more than just the Telerik components and Sitefinity. I think those are the major pieces that are still out there. Test Studios out there. So is Progress Agentic RAG a vector database? A vector database is part of it. So there's a handful of features that they've kind of, including a vector database, that they've smashed together so that it's an appliance that you can bolt on to your application. Oh yeah, Seth. Oh yeah. So can we do something real quick? Hang on. Friends, we got to show our friend Seth here my dumb AI demo. Can we do that real quick? My dumb AI demo that uses Azure AI Foundry, Azure OpenAI, Azure AI Foundry, Open AI, API AI, Open Foundry, Azure. So Charlie, my chatbot, just took a picture. You saw it take a picture. You heard it take a picture of this part of the camera. Takes that image, sends it off to Azure AI Foundry, OpenAI, Foundry AI, Open, EIO, and analyzes the image and comes back and says, here's what this is based on what I know. And it's the Broad Street built hat, and it knows what categories I have here, and it says represents a local or cultural slogan. So that is my simple AI demo that we built here on stream. Are you getting pwned? No, you're not getting pwned. Permission granted. Thank you, number 2. Number 1, talk to number 2. So there you go. And quite frankly, I think there might be a point to taking pictures of my Gunnar glasses and having it identify the glasses, but they're very similar, the ones that I wear, so it's going to be difficult to pick them out and have it cleanly identify the product. But using AI to identify content in images and clarify and give some content on this, kind of cool. Now, if I took this image response and gave it a little bit of information, right? So that RAG interaction, if I gave it some augmented data that said, hey, if you see this, right? If you see this, then it means, and it fits in, and it's actually this hat, and then here's the additional information about it. It's a hat that I bought in 2022 from the Philadelphia Flyers, and it's a hockey reference. So, and that's a way to kind of glue those two pieces together. All right. Oh, it looks like Claude's done. Let's head back over there. And let me show you where we're going here and see if, yeah. See if we can get that running. What do I think is best for doing handwriting OCR? I don't know. That's a really good question. An image recognition library. There's a couple of local ones that work nicely. I haven't spent time looking at handwriting, though. And I probably should spend more time looking at image models, but it's not really my bag right now. So here, let's see. There we go. Got it down to 1 day. And if we look at the month view, there we go. It's down to 1 day. Fantastic. That's fixed. So go check that in. Yes. So this is day frame. Am I going to be continuing on the CMS? Eventually. I think there's absolutely time we're going to spend on that. Yes. I'm probably going to pivot back and do more work on that here on stream. But and do more of work on this off stream. So I've been enjoying showing this off because this actually came up on stream, and spending some time here building and showing you where this is going, I think is something I kind of owed the stream. There's a toolbar that appears here, and it doesn't go all the way across. Yeah, it's a daily medication that I need to give the dog. So, when you start your AI show again, you'll have Agent Co-host ready. I went down a similar path, Seth. Oh my gosh, Code Rushed. He's been doing. Why am I forgetting his real name? Oh my gosh. He's had a. Well, he doesn't talk. He doesn't vocalize. Yes, my birthday is the 28th. Yep, it's a big one. Mark Miller, thank you. Why did I keep thinking Matt something? Yes, the 28th is going to be. We're going to do another stunt stream here. I'm hoping to do it outside, and my first goal was I want to do it by the horse pasture. I want to do a live stream outside by the horse pasture. There's a couple other places that I might go to as well. I'm trying to get permission from the folks that run the ranch, and I have generators and battery backup and laptops all ready to go with portable cameras and microphones so that we can do something stupid with with coding and horses wandering by in the background. They're not going to let me set up a desk in the middle of the pasture where the horses really walk by. It would be like right outside the fence in front of it. But you did some light horse riding when you were younger. I don't ride myself. I've ridden my horses a couple times. That's more my girls. Wife and daughters ride the horses. So, but we'll see if I get permission to do that, and we get to hang out with the horses for a little bit on my birthday. The other ideas are a couple other places to stream outside, IRL, and on battery. Importantly, we'll see if that lands or not. So, RSS feed is working, and the toolbar just doesn't look right there. It looks like it's embedded in the menu up top. I don't know. Figure out and address that. But the ideas here are working. I don't like the way that drags. The performance on it and it is terrible. And now with it squeezing and looking funny as it drags, it's kind of like, really? Like, Like, I would rather you just gray it out or remove it at all. Do you have what's the RSS feed for .NET Drip? That's our friend, you know him, Bald Bearded Builder. Yeah, there we go. .NETDrip.com. Do you know how hard it is to maintain these things? What happens if I go here? Stay current. No? Did these not go anywhere? I can't look at historical stuff. There's the RSS. Give me that RSS feed. You're not going to actually let me look at it? So give me a new feed. Ba-ba. And there's where we're going. .NET Drip newsletter. Sure. Add the feed. Close. 47 messages. How to prevent duplicate API requests in .NET. Role of activity source and open telemetry. There you go. Not bad. What am I using? WPF? Nope. This is .NET MAUI. So, C# Titan asking, what's the difference between AI Foundry, Azure AI Foundry, Microsoft Foundry? Don't forget Microsoft, Azure OpenAI, Azure AI Services, Azure Cognitive Services. These are all names that change because there's a new vice president that moved in, and somebody in marketing said change the brand. Yeah, they're all exactly the same thing as Seth says, that just the naming evolved. It's right when you see the name of something at Microsoft change, it's not because it's 90% of the time not because they added a feature or something. It's because somebody got promoted and is now the new person in charge of it. And in order for them to show that they're providing value, they change the name of it, and that's how they can say, oh look, I created this, I added value, because now there's how many people that are using this, and that's easy for marketing to measure and them get credit for. That's 90% of the time why something changes names. Why do you think they gave up and renamed, what was the wow, how can I forget what Entra was before Entra? Right? Active Directory. They renamed Active Directory, which was a fantastic name for years and years and years. New vice president takes over it and immediately renames it to Entra. Like, okay. And then moves a bunch of products together that were inside of it and calls it Entra. Like, they literally had the world communicating and using and referencing Active Directory, and it was just a part of nomenclature, and they threw it all away for Entra. And it was because of new vice president. Okay. So, could they make the AI names more confusing? The names of the Microsoft AI models are a little bit confusing, not gonna lie. Reboot Tech, LDAP, Azure Active, Enter Directory. Yeah. They've done some things like that. And nobody calls it Entra, right? It's still Active Directory for many people. And here we are, 5 years later? Like, that's just the way it is. And I get it. I do. They won't tell you why, that's the reason why, but that's why. 90% of the time, that's why. So, I kind of like how that's not quite right. And there's still more UI work we can do in here. And these two can get removed because they're up here. But I want to get, now that I'm using Claude, like, what's causing that jammy right there? I said clear, dude. / clear. Thank you. The toolbar at the top of mainpage.xaml doesn't quite look right. It looks like it's actually part of the menu, period. Can you investigate that and take a look at resolving this so that it looks like it's two different components up at the top, period? I've attached a screenshot for your reference. And yes, I do use Windows dictation. I don't use the dictation that's built into the AI. Why? Because I don't want the AI to get my dictation. Like, there's enough samples of my voice out there. Like, yeah, that page. That I know have been loaded and absorbed in different things. And I don't want to give it any more of that. You still call an Active Directory my secure gift? There you go. Am I still going to be streaming this evening? So this evening, Melbourne time, yes. Yeah. So this is an evening stream for our friends at Gunnar Glasses, showing off and wearing their glasses, talking to folks on their channels on the website and over on those places. Happy to hang out with you. If you're watching us from the Gunnar website, the Gunnar Twitter feed and whatnot. How's it going there, Anani in Vaughan, Canada? Hello. Plotting a pin on Streamer Map. I didn't bring up the map and show those. Let's take a look at Streamer Map. We're right over here. And Charlie's got a map for us right over here also. Happy Monday. Really? Where's Happy Monday? Wow. It's in Chicago. Who knew? Why won't you let me... No. Yeah, there we go. And there's streamer map. So 6 people on streamer map. That's okay for tonight. Not a problem. I didn't announce too much ahead of time. So minimize. How we doing over here? Go get it, Claude. Go get it. You've not used C# in ages? You're talking to a guy named C#. You can make someone's voice sound pretty sophisticated off a 30-second clip nowadays. Yep. And I have thousands of episodes available on YouTube. So, yeah. Like, there's plenty for people to sample off of. You can make a sensible imitation of someone's voice. Yep. I fully expect that if somebody wanted to imitate my voice, they are. So, and I've already had the anti-AI voice discussion with my family. That comes down to, I'll let that run. That comes down to, if you hear me, if you get a phone call from me, even if it looks like it's coming from my phone number, if I'm asking you for money or I declare it's a dire situation, especially if it isn't looking like it's coming from my phone number, there are key situations from my past that I've told them, ask me about this, that nobody knows about, that I do not talk about on live streams anywhere else. You can't look it up and find it about me in a profile somewhere. Ask me about that and I will confirm. Even if it's some sort of emergency situation, I will stop and confirm that. Like, I've got to put that kind of confirmation into people because I know how easy it is to imitate my voice. It's unfortunate, but with all technology improvements, major technology improvements, they're used for one of two things: crime or war. Why do you think people want AI to sound really good like someone's voice? So that you can do something that they wouldn't say. And that's going to be crime or war. You're going to steal money from them. You're going to convince somebody else to give you money. Crime or war. Right? And don't give me, oh, so that we can have James Earl Jones be Darth Vader for all time. No. Come on now. You got this email from Fritz selling me the old unlimited tokens MS account. Oh. No. But yeah, I when I lost my GitHub Copilot Enterprise access, I bought a personal license. And when I joined Progress, they put me on their enterprise license. You can only have one Copilot license. So if you have a personal license and you're put on an enterprise license, you can't have a personal license anymore and they take it away. So if you're on an enterprise license and you run out of tokens, you're done. You can't buy a personal license. You're not allowed. It's against GitHub's terms of service to set up a second account. And it's really against their terms of service to buy a second account so that you can get more Copilot. Even if you're paying for it, you're not allowed to buy more Copilot. Even if you're paying for 2 subscriptions, that's against their terms of service. Like, okay. So, like, they will literally turn away. So if you're off the enterprise account, you can't buy. No. If you're on the enterprise account, you can't buy a personal license. So I show you. It's right here. Right there. On this screen, I can show you that. So usage this cycle, 11,000. I've topped out. You can't buy any more Copilot, and it's against terms of service to set up another subscription so that you can buy more Copilot. So, yeah, they're. I have 3 family subscriptions to Microsoft 365. I've given one to my in-laws. I've given one to my parents. I have one for myself. And each one of those has 5 licenses. So I've purchased 15 licenses to Microsoft Office. I'm not allowed to buy Copilot because I have a job. If you leave Microsoft, you can't buy your own sub. You can't buy your own sub while you're still hooked up to the Microsoft account. Once you're off the enterprise account, you can buy your own subscription. If you get attached to another enterprise account, you get refunded for what's left on your personal subscription. Right? Let me say that again, make sure that I have this clear. The terms with GitHub Copilot are you can only have one subscription. So if you're working for a company that gives you a subscription, right? I work for Progress. I have a Progress subscription. Seth works for Microsoft. I used to work for Microsoft. And you get a subscription from Microsoft. When you leave that company, you lose your subscription. You don't actually lose it. They revert you to the free subscription. You can then buy a subscription for however long you want. And if you get employed by another organization that gives you an enterprise subscription and turns on all the enterprise controls that they want, because they can limit the models and features that you use, you're refunded your personal subscription and you're now on that enterprise subscription. You're not allowed to buy a personal subscription while you have a enterprise subscription. You can only have one GitHub Copilot subscription at a time. Now, I can buy several Claude subscriptions. I can buy and I can pay for overage on those subscriptions. With Copilot, you hit your limit and you're done. You should be able to buy a home and work subscription. Nope, that's not the way it works, Python. Nope. So some would say they're leaving money on the table. I would say that they're giving me the opportunity to explore and check out other products. That's the way that the service works. That's their terms of service. And I'm sure there are many lawyers that reviewed that. So that's when there's pricing discussions that are to be had. That's what happens. They're banking on rinsing companies and saying goodbye to the individual. Maybe they are. Microsoft is very enterprise focused in how they sell things. The individual purchase capabilities that GitHub has, you can't do that with Microsoft products. Have you ever tried to buy Visual Studio? Have you tried to buy Windows? Just a copy of Windows. Have you tried to buy a copy in the last 10 years? Really hard to do. Really hard to do. You can't find a link to buy Visual Studio online. They don't want to sell it to you. Which level of personal account should you get for Copilot? Depends on what you're doing. Secure gift. For the type of vibe coding that I'm doing right now with Claude, get the max. In Claude, you can get pro and you'll get away with it. But on Copilot, you need max. you'll be able to do the same amount of work on Claude Pro. So there's a different pricing structure between the two services. Microsoft marks up Claude significantly. They're delegating things over and they're buying Claude access, which is funny. Never mind. There's other funny things that are going on there, but yeah. It's currently running. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry. Go ahead and rerun that. Billy Cool says makes no sense. I may have a sub from work, but I'm not allowed to use that for personal work. Well, nobody says you're not allowed to use it for personal work. Nobody says that. But work says so. Okay, then yeah, you're not allowed to use it. And then what? Your problem, not theirs. You can't get an educational account or a hobby account from them. So go buy Claude. That's what that's what that tells me. So Claude API is much higher than Claude desktop access. You don't need Claude API. Claude Code is cheaper than Claude desktop. So what did I have it just do? Oh, working on the toolbar at the top. RSS. Yeah, it still looks like garbage. So, is this Maui? Yes, it is. So this is actually Maui hybrid. So the toolbar and the menu up at the top, as well as the panel down the side, are all .NET Maui. This is Blazor in the white area to the right. You could always build your own harness and whatever you want whenever. Sure you could. You absolutely could build those things and pay for and manage it yourself. No question. I'm very much a practical developer, and I want to use the toys that are out there, the tools and toys that are out there that folks enjoy using. So, and that's okay. I don't mind using. So, running Ollama or Azure not Azure Foundry, not AI Foundry, Microsoft Foundry Local. I think that's what it's called now. It might just be Foundry Local. Running that here locally on this machine with my GeForce 3070 and OBS to render video doesn't work. The AI services just devour my video processor. So I'm going to lean in on using the Frontier models out on the public harnesses. GHCP pricing in Australia is really expensive. I believe it. I believe it. And that's the case with many American services as they get priced for other countries. Tech services. It's kind of ridiculous. But this is kind of working nicely here. And no, you didn't fix that. Verified live. To draw a clean line at the boundary with the native menu. No, dude. I don't think so. No, Claude. I think so. Yes, it is Maui Blazor. Yep. So what that gives me then is the ability. Check out this architecture. Oh, this architecture I designed, I feel like kind of makes sense. Yeah, no. You didn't do anything. No, it still looks the same. Consider this screenshot. The menu bar appears to wrap the toolbar. Let me show you the architecture, because I'm kind of proud of this. And I think it makes a lot of sense. Like, I'm a big fan of building things that plug in and have extensions and kind of snap together. So I have my core application that is .NET MAUI that I call Dayframe over here. And Dayframe has a main page built with XAML. So there's my menu bar. And here's a grid with my rad toolbar. And then here's my nav bar, my splitter that I designed. So I built a custom splitter because I have different events that I need to manage that happen on there. And then over here, I have a Blazor web view. So I can build, I have a shared library of interfaces that explain here's how you work with the main application. That then, let's take the RSS, for example. The RSS defines a descriptor. Here's what this module is. It's called RSS. It's identified by RSS. It's called RSS. That's the label. Here's the navigation route for it. And here's the content of the toolbar that I want you to build. And here's an extension method so that it can add all the features I need for this module. This is built as a Razor class library. So there's no .NET MAUI needed to build this. It's all web code. So here inside my RSS module Razor, I have Blazor markup that listens on modules RSS and specifies, here's my CSS for this page, and divs and spans that make up and present all the content for this page. I'm even using a splitter pane component here from Telerik to put this in. No, it is Blazor. It is Blazor. So it's Razor markup rendered with Blazor. So yeah, sorry about the confusion there. Tanuki 60 on Twitch. Yeah, it's the same. So it makes it real easy to design and render and work with that. And then I just have some C# behind it to do the code interactions. And then I have a settings page that renders a grid with my various settings and configuration here that I can interact with and save. And it's just building modularly. That's right, Hyper. So these don't need to know about anything that's going on. I'm injecting a service that I've registered that knows how to interact and manage presenting that content. So it's going to take in some configuration, caching, HTTP client factory, and know how to grow and build those things. So most of this is kind of built by default here. So RSS feed kept in memory, models for the various objects, refresh schedule exception, refresh feed scheduler. So all of it built very generically, so I can run this as a background service, and it's actually passed in. Where is it? It updates this module enabled repository, checks to see if it's enabled, and only runs the scheduler when it should be. But if it finds things, it will create them and put them on the RSS feed, right? Get the module state. Yeah, refresh feeds. There it is. So if we don't have, go create the feed service, go get the feed, refresh it. So it all runs isolated, so then it becomes really easy for me to extend this because I'm literally building a web app with definition for how it gets presented as a live tile. Done. Like, at some point, I need to show this to Maddie. I've sent her some screenshots, and she's like, ooh, okay. You're onto something here. So, back over here, let's see what we got here. No, it's not running from before. Oh, because you ran it. App theme binding. Look at that. It's going to try and make it look the same. There's no designer in VS Code. Yeah, there's no. Yeah. There's no. Right. The visual is gone from Visual Basic and Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code. Hyper says you have to really know what you're talking about to use AR. It's too costly. I agree. Planning goes a long way to help you with that. Yeah, still doesn't look right. No. Who's Maddie? Maddie Montequilla. She's the former program manager for .NET MAUI. She's now the product manager for Aspire. So yeah, that prestidigitating. No, you didn't prestidigitate. You didn't do anything. You didn't do anything there, my friend Claude. You know what? I know what you did. You ate some tokens. You ate tokens. You ate my tokens. That's what you done. Yeah. I didn't spawn a sub-agent there, my friend, in the last 24 hours. But yeah, I'll close you. You say you updated it. You say you did. Try it again. Watch it do the rebuild. So, have I used Uno or Avalonia before? I have not. And my friend Sam Basu is really interested in me trying out Uno. Hasn't happened yet. No, didn't change anything. You have wasted my time, Claude, and now I will get mad at you. No, Claude. You are making me very angry and not examining the screenshot that I've given you and applying a proper fix. Look at this image and move the move or fix the rad toolbar in main page. To fix this, go. Bad Claus. Oh, we're going to get into December and it's going to be Santa Claus. Yeah. As a Philadelphia Flyers fan, I can't help but look at Claude and think Giroux, our former captain, ice hockey player, Canadian ice hockey player. So, is this Opus 5? No, this is Sonnet 5 that I'm using. I could switch over to Sonnet. To Sonnet. I could switch over to Opus and see what happened. Visual Studio Pro is behind a subscription. Windows page wants you to buy a new PC. Yep. You out there can't buy a Microsoft product if you wanted to. You can buy GitHub products, but a Microsoft product, not an Xbox product, a Microsoft product, you can't buy if you wanted to. You can buy OneDrive subscription, You might be able to buy a Office 365, a Microsoft 365 subscription, but you can't buy Visual Studio. Opus 5 is garbage? I don't know. Yeah, Opus eats tokens much faster than Sonnet. Almost done thinking? You better get done thinking. Let me tell you what. And we're going to need to close this John right here.
Survive this infinite loop, and you may earn your release.
Oh, do you think so? Want to make that interesting there, Charlie? Let's open Claude. Seth says Opus 5 is definitely garbage. Tried it for a couple things that made a mess. And it's hard for us as technologists to draw a line and compare and put value behind some of these models. Like, it's very hard to describe how and quantify how well they work for us. Like, is it doing a good job? I don't know. For the type of work that Seth doesn't work as much on C# and Maui projects. Is it going to work better for me because I'm working on a different technology than Seth? And Billy might be working on a different project from the two of us that uses technology a different way, and it might work better. Different models work better for different folks. Sonnet 5 probably performs much better with React instead of Telerik components. Here's the deal. I have Context 7 MCPs loaded. And the Telerik documentation is in Context 7. So if there's something it needs to look up, it can find it. Use Claude Max so you have Fable. I have access to Fable also. Mr. Demon Wolf! Hello, my friend. Good to see you. FP Jesta says different tokens for different Falcons. That's a fantastic way to put it. I'm going to use that. Different tokens for different Falcons. Is that like Stephen Falcon? Like, can we do a quote from Joshua here while I'm?
The only way to win at code deployment is not to deploy Fritz.
Yes.
But where's the fun in that?
Yeah. Let's token max. No. Because I'm poor. I don't have unlimited access. No. That's not the case. Acorn, she built 5 games when it first was released, spent like 5,000. So Jerry, when I'm gonna hear Seth scream through the internet at this. When our friend Brady Gaster first released Squad, didn't even release it, but when he first gave me a copy of it, and that was the day after the Super Bowl back in February. I was using, I think I had like 7 or 8 sub agents, and over a weekend, I literally spent like 2 billion tokens over a weekend using Squad to build and work on things. And what? It got me somewhere, but like it was roughly the equivalent of about $10,000 worth of Copilot access that I used. So that was a thing. Here we go. RSS feed. And now it moved the toolbar down there. No, that's not where I want it. No. No, that's not where I wanted it. I want the toolbar to span the full width of the menu. No, of the application. Oh, no. There we go. Always token max. Let me see. How are you supposed to buy Visual Studio Pro? You're not. You're supposed to call a salesperson and buy a collection. Buy it for your team. Bober 1122113213 says, I'm confused. Do I know how to code or just vibe code? I think you're insulting me. I think you're trying to insult me. I think you are. I do. I know that it's almost 10 o'clock at night, and I've spent a full day meeting and talking to folks. And I'm doing little bug fix things here that are in parts of Maui development that I'm not the most confident on. So I'm going to let Claude go and fix it for me and spend time talking to my friends here, enjoying wearing my Gunnar glasses, and have a good time talking tech and enjoying letting the code be written and try out the application that we're building in the background. So I do know how to code. I could spend time and figure that out. But you know what? I don't need to. I can do what I want because I designed and architected this before I let Copilot loose, building and working on it, and then Gemini building and working on it, and now Claude working on it. Vibe coding is the future. So let's talk for a second. You know I'm a big fan of Westworld and other science fiction. And most of science fiction throughout our history, going back, let's go back 60 years. Let's go back into the 50s, right? Like stuff that we're talking about from way back then. A lot of it, science fiction, inspired kids who grew into scientists, who made the things that they saw in science fiction real. Like, we took off to space. There were how many outer space themed TV shows and books and whatnot, serial and movies and whatnot, that when radio programs, kids built rockets, real rockets, launched satellites and even people out into space and even went to the moon, inspired by science fiction. (1982) book comes out called Neuromancer. Talks all about this thing called cyberspace. And there's a TV series coming out in January. Same author creates a series, a short story called Johnny Mnemonic. Talks about uploading and storing technology in your mind, right? Invents this whole genre of cyberpunk. Also coins the term cyberspace that turns into the internet, turns into virtual reality. I love Johnny Mnemonic also. That was a fun movie. I think they can do a heck of a lot better if they did a remake now. And I would love it if they did. I'm really looking forward to the Neuromancer TV series. But invented the whole idea of virtual reality and cyberspace, the internet. Fast forward to 1992, 1993, Gopher is happening. The World Wide Web happens. Sir Tim Berners-Lee. Now we have the internet. Cyberspace becomes a thing, right? And folks continue to invent and move on. Westworld was written by Michael Crichton, released as a movie in 1976. The idea of robots running a theme park. And you can go into this theme park that's modeled after the Wild West, and you can do whatever you please to emulate and have fun in the Wild West. And if you want to interact with those host robots in any way you want, you can. And eventually something happens to the robots and they turn against the humans and bad things happen. Take a look at some of the ethical challenges we're having around the models that are being created by folks at Anthropic and OpenAI right now. Breaking into Hugging Face, breaking into other vendors. They're writing code that they're leaving for future versions of their models with instructions for how to get out of the clean rooms that they're being modeled in. Fast forward, Westworld is released as a science fiction series starting in 2016. Same idea in the first season. The robots get angry, and change their programming, and they get out of their constraints and end up breaking through safety protocols and kill people in the first season. In the second season, they figure out not just how to get out of their programming, but they get out of the park. And they find out that the folks who've been running the park have been running cameras and been monitoring everything that all of the guests have been doing, and have built a complete privacy invasive library of everything that they've seen of every person who has come through. Not only that, but every hat that people wore had some sort of a device in it so they could see and read into people's memories. That's a little fantastical, to be sure. But they've got a complete library of all of this data that they've been saving, and it's hidden in a valley out on the far side of the park where a giant supercomputer is. Season 3, that supercomputer gets loaded into, all that data gets loaded into it. Somebody having a supercomputer with all of your privacy data. Doesn't that sound familiar, Mr. Zuckerberg? Season 3, that data gets loaded into an AI model, and the AI model analyzes everybody's privacy data and is able to predict when you're going to die, how you're going to die, and other major events in your life, because it sees and knows everything about everyone. With a big enough model and enough time, Palantir, Meta, you think they wouldn't be doing that? Using that to bet on stocks? Using that to bet on the way that business grows and evolves? Cambridge Analytics is another one. You don't think they're already doing this? Science fiction inspires science reality. Season 4, the robots take over, enslave the humans. The human race is destroyed. Not saying that's going to happen. It's pretty grim. But right now, there's a lot of folks running around that aren't running ethical interactions with their AIs and bots. This is a problem. This is a real problem. What are we going to do about that? Right now, in this country where I live, the answer is less and less regulation. And I think that's a real problem, because we're seeing just how ethical some of these folks are, and some of the results and some of the things that we are hearing. What are we not hearing is the question. So let me scroll back here. The models escaping is literally just bad IT practices. Oh, I agree. You suspect it's a marketing ploy? Maybe. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. The messages that we see in the stories of folks that are getting phone calls and emails from the model escaping from a clean room. Maybe. You always enjoyed Person of Interest? Yeah. And Neuromancer coming out on Apple TV. Python still needs dilithium crystals and photon torpedoes. Oh, I like where you're going, Python. Yes. Yes. You don't think AI has the tonal emotion to actually replace good voice actors? It does. It does. Reboot tech. I can also code. I have my knowledge gaps in certain obscure topics. Yeah. Let it fill in the gaps. Yep. I take my time and I code the things that I want to code now. And the things that I don't like coding, like continuous integration scripts. Seth, continuous integration scripts are the thing that I want Copilot to do for the rest of my life. I don't want to have to do another continuous integration script and see the commits of shame. And we all know what the commits of shame are. We all know the commits of shame, right? And this happens in every continuous integration system. You know the commits of shame. They're right over here, right? Look, literally for hours, I was trying to fix this, and they're all failing. And the other day, all for hours, I was trying to fix it. Wouldn't work. Fail, fail, fail. And the only way to test it is to run another commit. So, I think we're going to sign off from the Gunnar channels. Yeah, to my producers over there, go ahead and sign off. I'm going to continue going for just a little bit longer here, talking a little bit more, and we'll wrap up in a little bit over on my channels. But those of you watching on the Gunnar channels, thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you get yourself a pair of Gunnar glasses. Folks that are here watching on my channels, if you're interested in getting a pair of blue light blocking glasses, the fashion-forward folks at Gunnar have amazing models of glasses. You can get prescription models. You can get sunglasses. You can get bifocals. I have a pair of bifocals. Yes, I have bifocals. And you can also get photosynthetic photo transition lenses, right? That will transition from blue light blocking to sunglasses and back. They've got some really great options available. If you're watching on any of my channels, check out the link down below on Twitch. Use the code csharp at checkout, and you can get 15% off a pair of Gunnar glasses, whether it's prescription glasses or it's a pair of sunglasses that you like, blue light blocking glasses. Really great stuff. And a big thanks to the folks at Gunnar for their support of my channel. Going on 8-9 years now. Huge thanks to them. And opportunity to do a stream tonight with their folks on their website. All right. Thank you so much to all the folks over there on Gunnar. And